Hi, boys and girls. This is Ms. Kathy. I'm so happy you've joined me today for another story just for you. Day the sheep came through, as told to Lilith, Sanford rushing. Any time now the sheep herds will come through, Papa announced one spring morning at breakfast. Seeing the sheepmen and their dogs drive the herds through town on their way to market will be something you'll never forget. His eyes turned my way. Jenny, aren't you excited? No, I wasn't. I had a heavy burden in my heart. It had been there ever since Laura French had joined our school about 6 weeks before. Jenny's always grouchy these days, complained my older brother Joey. She won't even play catch with me anymore. I felt my mother's eyes on me, and I looked down at my plate. I had told her about the worry gnawing inside me. That Laura French? Her cruel tongue was as painful as a bee sting. She would join me every morning on the way to school, and then my humiliation would begin. Laura was the prettiest girl in our school. She was about a year and a half older than the rest of us, but she was always pale and headachy and could never take part in the strenuous games. For some reason, she detested me, and because Laura was popular, the other girls shunned me too. We finished breakfast, and I dressed for school. As my mother braided my hair, she said, "I know it's hard, but ask God to help you. He never fails. And Jenny, did you ever ask yourself whether you might be doing something to make Laura treat you the way she does? You know the Bible says, 'Do good to those who hate you. Pray for those who mistreat you. Turn the other cheek.'" "Oh, Mother, I've tried and tried. I can't understand why she torments me. I've never done a bad thing to her." "Come on, Jenny, we'll be late," came my brother's voice. "I wish I didn't have to go," I said weakly. But soon I was on the way to school. Near the big bridge that spanned the Concho River, Laura and her brother Grant joined us. Then Joey and Grant left to go to the junior high school. The moment we started walking across the long bridge, Laura's tongue lashed out. "You ugly country girl with all your freckles and your skinny legs, what do you think you'll learn at school today?" Her blue eyes blazed. I struggled to say something in reply, but I could not. I had freckles and long, wiry legs, and I knew it. "Why don't you speak up?" Laura went on. "You're as awkward as a kangaroo." She began walking briskly across the bridge. The bridge had a wooden ledge about a foot wide running the length of it near the height of my shoulders. When I had first met Laura, I had climbed onto this ledge and walked along it, showing her how brave and strong I was. Was this where her hatred for me had begun? We finally arrived at school, and Miss Woolworth began our geography lesson. But my mind wouldn't settle on the lesson. I suddenly remembered that the merchants in town had been putting away the boxes of produce they usually set out on the sidewalk for display. Did that mean the sheep were coming through? Would I miss the excitement? "Jenny Price, why are you sitting there daydreaming? In what country is Calcutta?" Miss Woolworth's voice startled me. I stammered, "Calcutta? Why, it's in Russia." Everyone laughed. I sank low in my seat, flooded with humiliation. Laura leaned across the aisle and whispered loudly, "Numbskull, dumbbell." I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. Then the devil must have moved in my being. I began to plot a way to get back at Laura. How could I hurt her as much as she had hurt me? I cast aside all the wise words our Bible has for our conduct. I forgot that I had one friend, even when all the world was against me. I revived somewhat when the teacher said, "Jenny, please go to the blackboard and work out the example in division. You are the only pupil who seems to understand how to divide fractions." But at recess, my misery returned tenfold. I don't know how Laura ever managed it, but I found that she had written the word kangaroo in large letters on the back of my white blouse. The others laughed as if their sides would split. After crying a while in the library behind a book rack, I took off the blouse and turned it inside out. It looked odd, but it was better than it had been. The rest of the day, the other students were dying to laugh at my funny-looking blouse, but they dared not do it in the schoolroom. The only thing that kept me from despair was my new determination. I was going to get even with Laura French. School let out early, and in the hurry I lost sight of Laura. Going down the crowded schoolhouse stairs, I noticed the amusement in the eyes of my classmates. "You won't find Laura," a tall boy told me. "She was feeling sick and hurried home." I glared at him and went on. Then I remembered that there was a big stick lying near the edge of the playground. I snatched it up and ran to the street. I would beat Laura's legs and arms. I would hit her hard all over her body. I would pull out most of that beautiful hair. I took a shortcut to the bridge, knowing that Laura had to cross it. As I ran past a store, a man standing in front said to me, "Little girl, get out of the street. The sheep are coming through. You'll be trampled." "They won't trample a tall girl like her," someone replied. I rushed on, but suddenly paused. The sheep! They had probably entered the outskirts of town already. And when the herds got to the bridge, would Laura be there? Laura with her pale face and weak body? I dropped the stick. Laura would be helpless, frightened like a kitten. I wasn't afraid for myself. I was strong enough to jump out of the way and run, but not Laura. Dear God, I tried to pray, dear God, forgive me for letting myself be taken over by evil. Why did I do it? Please forgive me. I began to run as I had never run before. Voices called after me, telling me to get out of the streets, but I didn't heed them. Finally, the bridge loomed before me. I ran onto it, straining my eyes for Laura. I could hear the short-clipped barking of sheepdogs. Was that thick thudding the sound of sheep walking onto the bridge? Yes, I could see the gray horde at the other end. Where was Laura? Finally, I spotted her, a small knot huddled against the railing near the center. I raced on, screaming till I thought my lungs would burst. "Laura, climb! Climb to the ledge!" The little bundle didn't move. I reached her where she half squatted, a frozen ball of fear. "Climb to the ledge!" I cried. "Reach high and put your hands on the support rods." She made no move. I snatched at her hands, placed them on a steel rod, and began pushing, lifting Laura up. She revived a bit and helped herself at last. After some panicky moments, I got her onto the ledge and quickly pulled myself up after her. I held her there by placing my arms on the rods with Laura between them. The sheep were now crowding over the floor of the bridge. There were stout old rams that might have harmed Laura when they found her in their path. There were others that could have trampled her. As the sheep passed below us, hardly 6 feet away, I felt Laura's body relaxing. She began to cry. "Oh, Jenny," she sobbed, "I've been so mean to you, so very, very mean." "Just look at the sheep, Laura," I said. "We'll never have as good a chance to see them go through as we have this minute." But Laura kept on. "Jenny, I'm so sorry. The day you climbed up to this ledge, and I knew I couldn't, I was jealous. And when you were so strong and so good in games and so smart in math, I couldn't stand it. I was sick 2 long years and couldn't play. I got behind my class. I failed twice in math. I hated you, Jenny. But I don't now. Please, please, can you understand?" "Yes, Laura," I said, "I understand." I felt light and happy again. Laura said, "Jenny, we can be friends, can't we?" "Yes, yes," I said, "we can. But look at the sheep. Don't look on this other side down to the water, though." The water was deep and dark down there, but I wasn't afraid to look at it. I had just conquered water so much deeper, so much darker and more dangerous that ordinary water could not frighten me.
The story you have heard today is from Guide's Greatest Stories, written by various authors and compiled by Randy Fischel, and used with permission from the Pacific Press Publishing Association. If you're interested in any other books published by the Seventh-day Adventist Church, please visit AdventistBookCenter.com or call 1-800-765-6955.
This podcast is a production of the Carolina Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.